But if you go on that lift unexpected, not knowing what you're doing, then you don't know what you in for.
On this episode of Boston College Football Decide to Fly, we see the benefits of all that work away from the bright lights of game day, during the week and in the offseason. As BC's depth is severely tested midway through the season, the Eagles try to replace fallen starters in crucial positions, most notably losing quarterback Anthony Brown in Louisville.
And here comes David Bailey, breaking free, makes a move downfield.
Boston College answers those tests with a couple of record-breaking offensive performances against NC State and Syracuse. Plus, we hear the inspiring story of Brandon Sebastian in his own words.
McLeese, he's going to go up top. He has a receiver open in the end zone, and it's intercepted. A great play by Brandon Sebastian to pick it off.
And then I wrote a poem for him right here. It's a poem I wrote my freshman year for him. And then I got his slogan, DTD down my bicep, which means dominate the day.
They embrace the traditions and honor of those who played before them, knowing that any height can be reached.
Throws it down. Looney. Cut! Boston College! I don't believe it! Cut! The Eagles win it!
Upholding the values of compassion, integrity, and service for their families, their teammates, and their school. They leave here prepared for any field.
This is what makes college football so fun.
They put on the maroon and gold, knowing that not everyone can play here, as at their core, they are true student athletes. This is heart. This is pride. This is worth cheering for. This is Boston's college. Welcome to Boston College Football. Decide to fly.
Boston College traveled to Louisville, Kentucky in a game that would have a big impact on the Eagles' season. Not because of the game itself, but because of who BC would lose on the first Saturday in October.
13 yards on the previous play, and a wide-open man is Hunter Long.
Wide open Long. Past the 50 to the 40 to 35, 30.
Long inside the 20. Long to the goal line, and he's in for the Boston College touchdown.
Anthony Brown was in complete control and in midseason form.
This is a long pass play. Brown caught in stride and down to the 20-yard line. Zay Flowers got behind that secondary, and Chandler Jones brought him down.
And here he's just rushing on past the defender, standing flat-footed. What a beautifully thrown football by Anthony Brown.
The Brown to Flowers connection had the Cardinals on their backs, but then Anthony Brown's season came to an end.
This is Anthony Brown. First down and more for Brown. Now he is still on the turf after a gain of 14 to set up first and goal for the Eagles, but the attention on Anthony Brown, slow to get up for Boston College after what looked to be a designed run.
This is tough for Steve Addazio and his team.
Head coach Steve Addazio has unfortunately seen Anthony Brown get a season-ending knee injury before, during his freshman year. And Brown had worked so hard to become one of the best quarterbacks in the ACC after that injury. But more importantly, he has turned into a BC man, a leader on a team of leaders. As unexpected as it is for Anthony and the team, they know that he will work just as hard to get back better than before. And at BC, the team will always be with him. So the Eagles turn to sophomore Dennis Grosel. In a tribute to the staff and representing all of the backups, Grosel looked up to the challenge.
We got it! Throws the pass down the goal line and a touchdown. Dreezy has the catch. 10 yards for BC on the pass by Grosel.
With a safety blanket of the best offensive line in the ACC, Grosel was able to navigate the Eagles to 5 scoring drives
Grossell looking left all the way to the end zone. And caught for a touchdown. Kobe White snares it for the Eagles, 13 yards.
including 3 touchdown passes. It was a dogfight to the very last possession.
Grossell on second down, floats it to the end zone, and a touchdown Boston College. Adreese has his second TD grab.
As Anthony Brown took on a new role, A.J. Dillon assumed his usual one, rushing for 118 yards as the Eagles came all the way back and took the lead late in the game.
Stay in this fight.
Misdirection gadget play for Levy, running towards the goal line. He's pushed, and Levy is into the end zone, just inside the pylon. 37 yards for Travis Levy.
The game barely slipped away on a day that would challenge the resolve of our Eagles.
What a performance by both teams today. In the end, the Cards have just enough to get by the Eagles, 41-39.
And boy, would they respond. Boston College football is about more than what takes place on the field. These BC men support each other when they need it most.
Yeah, my brother passed away my freshman year because he had colon cancer, and it was stage 4, so he passed away. That week we were playing Virginia. I couldn't travel, so I came back home, and a bunch of the players were writing his name on their cleats, writing his name on their gloves, writing his football number on their on the tape of their wrist.
You know, he and his family are such a big part of our program, as is all the rest of them, and their family went through an unthinkable loss. When that news comes, it's just devastating. You know, and I've dealt with that with my parents, and at a young age, and understand how impactful that is. And we wanted to be there to support Brandon, support his family, and to let him know that we loved him and we were here for him. And because when you go through those things, you need to feel from the people that are closest to you that they're there for you, and that was very, very important to us.
Man, so the day I found out I had to go back home, so I had to leave practice early. It was a Tuesday practice, so we're in full pads, all that. And I left the practice early, changing in the locker room, and then Coach Adazio, I guess, addressed the team, saying telling them about my story and about my brother and stuff. And then right when I got out the shower, walking out, and the team's walking in, he had every player gave me a high five, dapped me up, hugged me, saying they loved me. And that's just the type of team we have, type of character, people we have. And I'll never forget that, yeah. Everyone was approaching me, giving me hugs, telling me it's gonna be all right. My best friend CJ was there too. He was shedding a little tear, I was shedding a little tear with him, but that's just how brothers are, man. And we have a big brotherhood here, and we have high character guys, and if that's what you're looking for in a team, then this is the place to be. So right, this one I have a third eye mixed with eye horrors and a dove for my older brother. I got a Buddha because he had it. This is like a dedication sleeve. So I have a Buddha with a red lotus flower, which means love. And then I wrote a poem for him right here. It's a poem I wrote my freshman year for him. And then I got his slogan, DTD down my bicep, which means dominate the day. The poem, I can have it memorized right here. It says, brother, not a day goes by where I don't think of you. Sometimes I wonder if it's actually true. Although you're gone, your memory will never fade. It soothes me to know you're no longer in pain. Once my brother, but now my guardian angel. I know you will watch over me forever. Yeah, and it says, I love you, and it says hashtag Jordan Strong. So I put that on my thing, hashtag Jordan Strong.
We knew how emotional and how hard that was going to be on Brandon and on his whole family. So that was an ongoing, obviously, time of support there. Here at this university, people genuinely care about you and want to be vested in your life academically, socially, and athletically. It's not about, BC football, and that's why we talk around here about being a BC man, We don't say be a BC football player, we say be a BC man, and there's a reason for that.
When I first pulled up, he sat up in his chair and he's like, "Brandon, shouldn't you be at practice?" And I started laughing. I was like, "Yeah, but I'm here with you for a little bit." He's like, "Oh man, you're crazy." And then he was like put on he was on morphine for a little bit, and then he couldn't really speak. And then my last words I said, "I love you," and then that was my last words to him. And then he passed away probably like about 2 hours later. Definitely. And we have a game on so October 19th will be 2 years since he passed, so I'm gonna try to score a touchdown, get an interception or something for my brother, because that's when we play NC State at home. So yeah, gotta snap that game too.
One way or another, this game is going to change on this next play. 4th and goal for NC State. Leary zips it, incomplete. Just a good job by Sebastian, the corner.
I just go about just living life as happy as possible. I mean, life's too short to be worrying about stuff and always control what you can control. That's what he used to tell me, control the controllable. So that's how I go about my life.
Fade to McLeese. He's going to go up top. He has a receiver open in the end zone, and it's intercepted. A great play by Brandon Sebastian to pick it off, and the ball back to Boston College.
I love everything that it stands for. You know, you can't hide. It requires incredible mental and physical toughness. It requires the fact that you know you have to be accountable. You have to rely on your teammate, and they have to rely on you. And it's like a family where you're drawing from each other the very best from each other, the strengths from each other. And alone you can't do it. And I think that's fundamentally the greatest thing that we get a chance to teach here as coaches, because it's the single most important ingredient, in my opinion, for your life to be successful in your family, is the ability to make sacrifices for each other, to be there for each other when your teammate is more important than yourself. All the things that I really feel sometimes in our world today, you know, it's a very I, me, selfish deal, and I feel in this arena there's no place for that. I think it's really one of the very, very best places, and why guys will look back years from now at their time here at Boston College and realize how special those moments were, where you could be together as one, as a team. As I talk to the team a lot about, like, in your finest moments, you don't go in the corner and say, yeah. You look for somebody that you love or that you care about, and you hug them and you share your greatest moments together. That's the thrill of being a team, and that's what it's really all about. It's not about the individual, it's about the team.
Let's go!
The Eagles of Boston College were looking to share some more great moments as Alumni Stadium was alive with the extra buzz of homecoming. They were anxious to play again, coming off a bye week with North Carolina State providing the challenge.
Look at the matchup today. You have the best run defense in the conference taking on the best rushing offense in the conference. And the NC State defense only allowing about 67 yards a game.
A.J. Dillon and company found the early going rough, going 3 and out, but the Eagles' own defense was on point as well.
Pressure coming. Hockman cannot get away. There's the true freshman from Somerset, New Jersey, Sheeta Salah.
And the Eagles bring him down. It's Sheeta Salah with his first career sack.
I think the defense set the tone for the day. I just believe we came out on fire on defense, and I think they set the tone for the day.
One of the key tone setters was linebacker Max Richardson, who would lead the Eagles in tackles, and special teams made the job easier.
On 4th and 8, Eagles with some fantastic special teams. The Wolfpack don't have a positive play in their first 2 drives, and they're 99 yards away from the end zone.
Grant Carlson's punt and subsequent coverage set up the first score of the game.
Back to throw in the end zone, dumps it off, picked off by Maitre at the 5, to the end zone for a touchdown. A pick 6 for the Eagles, Jason Maitre.
Well, Maitre gets the touchdown here on the undercut on the throw-in man coverage, but give Max Richardson a ton of the credit, an assist, if you will. The pressure by the linebacker forces Hockman to throw the ball under heat.
Now there's an interception. Boston College with a pick 6. Jason Maitre. On 2nd and 3. Boom! Anticipating the play was Mike Palmer.
The Boston College defense held the Wolfpack to just 50 first-quarter yards, and they were especially tenacious near the goal line.
Bam Knight alongside Bailey Hockman. And it throws incomplete.
The Eagles' dominating defense was having an effect on NC State. Most important, it had them in the lead until the offense got its sea legs with the best rushing attack in the ACC.
A.J. Dillon, look out.
Since Dillon became a starter 2 years ago, he's second in the nation in rushing yards per game. He helped get the Eagles close enough to tack on to their lead.
This one is from 28. And boom, Mary boots it through.
And it was back to a defense that continued to hound the Wolfpack. NC State had negative rushing yards for the half, while the Eagles showed they had a multifaceted ground game.
2nd and 17, handoff, Bailey. Pass 50 to the 45, to the 40, on his horse at the 35-30. Bailey cuts back to the 25, to the 15, to the 10, to the 5, to the end zone. What a run by David Bailey. How do you like that? Touchdown, Boston College. He's the Eagle in the end zone.
The 54-yard run was the longest so far in the sophomore's career.
And here comes David Bailey, breaking free. Makes a move downfield. David Bailey takes it all the way. Backed up in the running game. Who cares, Dave Archer?
David Bailey, I talked about this offense, came in with 19 plays of 30-plus yards, and a lot of it is in the run game. But NC State's so good against the run, this is something you don't expect them to give up. The #1 rushing defense in the ACC just got gashed by that big offensive line and big running back David Bailey.
A perfect example of the Eagles football family philosophy carrying over to on-field success.
He's been a big brother to me when I came in here. He always took me under his wing from my freshman year, taught me anything. Like, we would always go to the side. We had come here late meetings. He just teach me the concept of every play, just run plays, pass, protection. Always told me to trust my eyes, him and Coach White and also the other running backs. So just me and him, his relationship is always like a big brother, a family member, and I love him.
Just getting started, man. Keep playing, man. Yes, sir. In my line up front. Yes, sir. Great job, folks.
And the Dillon and Bailey show was just getting started.
Back to the ground, BC's A.J. Dillon spinning past defenders. Dillon, almost shocking to see NC State's defense get gashed like this.
Excellent block on the outside by Garrison.
This was a battle of strength against strength, and BC was winning it.
Here comes Bailey again. Makes a man miss. David Bailey down the sideline. Breaks another tackle. Touchdown, Boston College.
Cuts back, cuts the 40, to the 35, to the 30, could go at the 25, 20. Bailey to the 15, cuts back at the 10, to the 5, towards the end zone. David Bailey, simply miraculous. Touchdown, Boston College.
Dillon and Bailey would each go over 100 yards in the first half, showcasing how the Eagles rank in the top 10 nationally in rushing.
Leary gets hammered. Look out. Here comes Max Richardson.
Our two backs are running really, really hard, breaking tackles. I think we're doing a good job up front and starting to get surged, and we're starting to wear that defense down just a little bit, but they're a really good run-stopping defense. it was a slow start. You could see that that's the way it was going to be. And our defense is really playing well right now, you know, and super excited about the way they're playing. Now we got a whole half of football. We got to come back out here with more energy than we started with, make the adjustments, and continue to play at a high level.
After losing 2 games by a combined 5 points, there would be no let-up.
Here comes Bailey again. He cannot be tackled. David Bailey.
While it was a coming-out party for Bailey, who would finish with 181 yards rushing, it would be the 3rd straight game Boston College went over 500 yards of total offense.
And a quick screen to a wide-open tight end. Hunter Long, rumbling, bumbling inside the 10.
NC State had allowed only 400 rushing yards all season. Boston College had more than that in one game.
Roselle takes over, relying on his big backs. A.J. Dillon breaks the plane. Touchdown, Boston College.
BC had built its largest lead against an FBS team all season.
Here's Boomeri for the extra point.
The disciplined Eagles were instilling their will on NC State.
3rd and 6. Dillon has 6. Almost had the end zone. 1st and goal, BC from the 3 coming up.
It would be Dillon's 3rd career game of better than 200 yards.
A.J. Dillon to the end zone again. Touchdown, Boston College. What an answer. After NC State scored, BC marches again. The length of the field.
Now the give to Dillon to the end zone for a touchdown over the left side of the line. A.J. Dillon, for the 2nd time today, is the Eagle in the end zone.
The defense set the tone to start the game and continued relentlessly, helping wear down the Wolfpack while setting the table for their brothers on offense in a well-choreographed team win.
But this is a recipe to win games, run the football.
Another good stiff arm for Dillon. Jakeem Harris might have saved the touchdown, and Dillon just went over 200 yards of the day.
Well, A.J. Dillon has been a monster, as has been David Bailey. And again, the offensive line creating those huge creases.
Dillon bounces off one man and glides into the end zone. It's like he's made of rubber, and he just bounces off tacklers and progresses downfield.
Been a heck of a performance by BC up front on both sides of the ball. I think that this will be a fun film, a fun tape for all the players here at BC to watch. When you win a game physically the way they did today.
This was the Eagles' best rushing game in over 5 years, coming against one of the best run defenses in the country, making an already special homecoming even more memorable. For a family of Eagles sparkling in the Chestnut Hill sunshine, this is why they play the game.
For Boston, we sing our proud refrain. For Boston, 'tis wisdom that we gain. For here all are one and our hearts are true. The towers on the heights reach the heavens home. For Boston, till the echoes ring again.
Boston College headed to Syracuse for a game that they will remember for the rest of their lives.
Give to Bailey with a hole past the 25-15. Bailey to the 10, to the 5, to the end zone.
This was a man's game and one that BC imposed its identity on play after play. And all that work when no one was watching. Well, it became crystal clear as the Eagles bruised the orange with the run and then attack through the air.
Roselle gonna loop one, wide open down the field, Kobe White, and he scores.
The defense imposed its will as well.
Roselle shoots it wide open as Flowers. The catch is made, and Zay Flowers will score.
This is the time of year you always see BC boys turning into BC men, while one player is turning the pages of the history books.
Low counter, and here goes Dillon. Rolling is A.J. Dillon. Well, A.J. Dillon has just etched his name to another record at Boston College. Last week became the school's all-time leading rusher. Today, their all-time leader in touchdowns on the ground with 35.
There, it's a great job up front by the Boston College offensive line, who I mentioned earlier, they might be the best in the conference, one of the best in the entire country.
Bailey breaking free, and David Bailey is off to the races. And the big fella gets another long score, 74 yards.
BC was not going to be stopped.
Fumbled the ball and turned it over.
Scoring 34 points in the second quarter.
Final half minute. Rolling right, throws for the end zone. Caught, Miranda the touchdown.
It was a celebration of a team that has become family.
Dillon banging away and carrying orange jerseys into the end zone.
Boys to men, an offense that couldn't be slowed down.
How about a hat trick for A.J. Dillon? How about an unbelievable day for A.J. Dillon?
And a team that left no doubt about who they are becoming.